So the Senate, yeah. Does what the Senate appears to be in the process of doing now remove the problem that seemed so arch yesterday?
Well,
are they moving forward with?
We're pleased to see the progress being made on the tax bill, and think it's a good sign. We've all along been really focusing in on the things that are very urgent and necessary to move right now. We're going to look at the details of the bill. Obviously, we haven't gotten through that, but generally speaking, it's important that I think the Senate took a very important and positive step today.
What major detail is that budget reserve portion of it? Is that something you guys could accept at this point?
We have to look at the details of it. I think that there'll be. I think we wouldn't reject a budget reserve. Outright, but I haven't looked at the details of the proposal yet.
And are you thinking about a conference committee, or is this something you're hoping to just concur on and get out of the door?
We need to look at the details of the bill. I mean, ideally, we need to look at the details of the bill before we take that up.
Has Congress ever concurred in a Senate tax bill that had major differences from the bill that the House passed? I asked this chair earlier. I don't remember.
Well, you would know best. So.
I mean, I don't know. We don't know yet if it's major differences, first of all. Yeah. I mean, we got to figure that out. But, I mean, there have been I can think of times I thought of one with small differences early in session with the federal conformity piece with a few provisions from the Senate. But we don't know if these are major or minor.
Last year. Fair to say it would be unusual.
Last year, but they were minor. So we did
last year in our early tax bill, we did.
Just based on your what you understand of the bill, what you've heard about the bill, do you see any nails sticking out that are just going to be difficult?
The devil is always in the details. So we need to look at the numbers.
I'm sure you've looked at it. What's that?
I'm sure you've looked at it.
Well, I would just say there's some provisions that I have to actually read what's going on. I mean, whether it's the reserves or Angel or Estate or LEI or you name it. I mean, we just don't know what they're doing yet. I mean, we have a spreadsheet, but we have to actually see. And then they're going to mark up the bill, right? I mean, they're going to add amendments, things are going to move around. I mean, so I think it's just way too soon to know exactly how much we even differ with them at this point.
Commissioner Francis
is considerably smaller than your bill. Are you going to meet in the middle somewhere? Or?
Bigger in the tails, smaller in the first year is what we can see.
Right. Again, we have to look at the bill and see what they're doing. I mean, the way they described it, they're doing a lot of the conformity. That's important, but we need to look at the details.
And the good news is the Senate is taking action on the bill, and we have all along. We moved a bill early because we thought it was urgent to get this done, get middle-class tax cuts to Minnesotans, and we're glad to see the Senate is taking those steps. I know that Representative Lenczewski and others will take a look at the details, and we'll know where we're going from there.
So how long are you going to take a look? Do you have a sense of urgency so that taxpayers who are filing now can claim the benefits in those bills?
Absolutely. I mean, that's the whole reason we did this. That's the reason that the House led on federal conformity and repealing the B2Bs. So, yes, we feel that urgency as far as the time. So we really have to get to work, and so that's why someone else is chairing the tax committee at this very moment, so I can spend time doing that.
So what happens after tomorrow? Say the Senate passes their bill, then what happens?
Again, we'll have to look at the bill, but they'll send the bill over here, and we're in session tomorrow. So,
do you credit the governor for expediting the Senate's movement here on this?
I think the governor's been clear all along that he wants to get this tax relief out to middle-class Minnesotans and the business-to-business tax relief done, that there's an urgency to it. And he clearly made his point yesterday, reiterating what he said all along.
Have you given any thought to a Friday or Saturday session if you do need to take this to a conference committee
We haven't thought of it. I mean, there's many options that we could consider, but we need to understand what the bill is first.
So if this decouples the office building and the tax bill, is it your expectation that the building gets settled entirely on its own merits, or does it become part of a different political calculus?
It's my expectation that the House Rules Committee will get some information back from the administration on alternatives, and we will consider that information separately, and then we'll make a decision on the course we need to take going forward.
Have they given you timetable as to when will get that information?
I know that there were a group of staff that were meeting today, earlier today, but I don't know the result of that. And I think they had more questions for us, so we're going back and forth in terms of the information that we're seeking. And I don't expect it'll be too long.
If the current proposal ends up just making the most sense for logistical and financial reasons, could you live with it?
And I think that the Rules Committee and Minnesotans will expect us to make a decision that is both effective in terms of cost and in terms of what it means going forward for generations. So it seems to me that it makes sense that the Senate is, all of the Senate together, 67 senators are in a place where the public has access that is cost effective and comports with the modesty that Minnesotans expect. And that's what we're looking for in terms of a proposal. That's what we're looking for in terms of a goal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
They put $150 million into reserve and put in another trigger mechanism to creep up the reserve even more.
Okay, I guess I wasn't familiar with that provision yet. I know this bill just got assembled this morning on the Senate side. You know, obviously, from our perspective, if our choice is spend the money or put it in reserves, we would prefer it to go in reserves. But frankly, we'd like to see tax relief for middle-class Minnesota families and putting that money in their pockets. That's where the money is needed. So that would be our preference.
Would you regard any amount of tax relief at this stage of session as a win and let it go forward, or do you think if it's smaller than what you guys sent out, you guys might not lend your support?
Well, you know, I think we would like to see it higher than what was sent out. I think, you know, when these bills were passed, basically on a straight party line vote last year out of the House, we said this was a mistake. We said this was going to hurt Minnesota's economy and Minnesota jobs and families. And I think now the Democrats in an election year are seeing that that's the case. And you know, we're happy that they've come to our position and that they want to fix some of their mistakes from last session. But I'm not sure. You know, that I'm encouraged that they're going to go far enough. So we'd like it to go further, but we'll wait and see what the final bill is before, you know, the caucus kind of decides whether we can support it or not.
What we're told is it's smaller in the short run, but larger in the years to come.
Yeah, and I think, you know, I think there's probably some value in that, and you know, we'll have to weigh those trade-offs. We obviously would like it to be heavier in the long term, and if some of the getting rid of some of these tax mistakes are stretched out over time. If it means we get more of them over the long run, maybe that's okay. But we'll have to analyze the bill once we see the final version.